Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and those of you who are new here, thank you for joining us today. So today is going to be a topic that I really contemplated even approaching on my channel because I want my channel to be more lighthearted and have fun activities and things that we can all vibe with and such, but you know, you can't sugarcoat things. If anything I know as a historian is that you gotta talk about the hard issues, especially when no one else will. So today, in light of National Mental Health Awareness Month, some of you may know, May is that month, I'm gonna talk to you guys about the microaggressions and prejudice and racism that I experienced both as a student and majorly as an athlete. So that's going to be our prime focus today with this conversation. I do think that talking about race, unfortunately, still is a taboo topic. Things are getting better, but they can still improve. And I'm not one who will take my foot off the pedal. I'm going to keep talking about it when I see that there's an issue. And I also do need mental help after these experiences. So I would encourage, especially minorities, to seek, help when they think that they need mental health. And I'll talk more about that later after talking to you guys about my experiences. And also, to calm myself, I'm going to be doing my makeup because it is very therapeutic to me and a fun thing to do. So even though this topic, it's not going to be fun, it's going to be quite unnerving, but just bear with me. I'm going to do my makeup while I talk to you guys and hope that I hit all the points that I intended on hitting today with this video. I'll briefly show you guys the Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is what I'm using. It's not the point of the video, so if you guys want a glimpse of it, I'll be using the blue color on top, which is called Dream It. So, coming in, I'm so very thankful that my parents always taught my brothers and I to respect one another and respect whoever it is you meet in your life based off of their values and their morals as a human being. Doesn't matter what you look like. And I think that is a very common saying for people, and there are people who actually do have malicious intent, nefarious intent, who say that and they really don't mean it, but I do. I mean that. I mean that I will respect you as long as you respect me, and I want love and peace. I want all of that, which is another reason why I'm going to talk about when things are opposite of love and harmony and peace. So, coming in, I had those values in mind. I was going to attend PWI, which, if you guys don't know what that acronym is, it means predominantly white institution. And again, I didn't really care, I was going there to get my degree. I was going there to run for the school, and that was that. If I made friends along the way, which I did, they're very dear to me, that would be great. And I am very grateful for the good experience that I had. Unfortunately, all of the years being there, I experienced racism, I experienced prejudice, and I experienced microaggressions, and I understand that those all have different terms and different meanings, so I'm going to express to you guys my understanding of what I think each term means before I dive into it. So racism is when people in power are using that power to demean and to debase other humans. So as we know, in America, primarily, this has been seen on both the federal and local levels with a lot of white members of the society. We had Jim Crow laws that disallowed minorities to be in the same spaces as white Americans. So, yes, that is my understanding and what I would say racism is. And it's obviously also when you think that your race should be superior to other races. Now, prejudice is when you are coming in with these preconceived notions about somebody else or something else, and you act and in light of those sentiments that you've had prior, you know. So that's how you're going to act towards someone. If I think, oh, I'm walking down the street and I see this big scary guy, and you know, and I see that he's like very muscular and stuff, what me being prejudiced would be me saying like, oh, you know, like he looks like a meathead, like he probably doesn't do a lot of academic work. Like that's, of course I would not believe this about a stranger. I'm just putting in context what prejudice would be. For instance, a lot of people termed as jocks would probably get this prejudice, which I believe is entirely wrong. I mean, you should not base someone based off of their athleticism. If they prove to be both smart and, you know, they have athletic ability, that's awesome for them. But you shouldn't just look at someone that was deemed a jock and say, oh, they're dumb. Like, that's just wrong. So, microaggressions, from my understanding, is when you are doing habitual things daily to maybe your coworkers or, for instance, your teammates, and making them very uncomfortable. And these aggressions are in a racial light. So if I walked past one of my friends and I said, oh, like, you got really tan, you know, like, which some people find that as a compliment, but if she thought that that was offensive for me to be talking about that, and if I continue to talk about it and it's making her uncomfortable, don't continue to talk about it, you know, like, just cease from doing that. And I'm gonna give you guys the exact things that happened to me that I deem as microaggressions. I completely just abandoned my makeup, but we're gonna do it while I talk. So, leaning more towards the athletic side of things, because I said that's what I was going to talk about primarily today. Just know that I had issues all throughout college, being a Division I athlete. I had my good moments. It was really fun traveling with my team and stuff, and there were really fun moments to it. Wrong brush. But also, it was almost as if the people with the leadership positions made it difficult for me at times. And again, like, I don't really think I ever put this on myself. So it's just extremely unnerving, and I'd like to tell others about it. So I had a switch of coaches between my freshman and sophomore years. So going into my sophomore year, I was going to start training under another coach, and I was an 800 runner. And I was excited to have a fresh start because I had, you know, some issues with the coach prior. So I just wanted to really just go really hard in the paint, as hard as I could. And I didn't have any issues out the gate with this coach. I really did not. So that just was how I started off my sophomore year training with him. And I just want to say that I feel like with a lot of coaches, this is not true at all, coaches tend to have favorites. They show favoritism. Favoritism is something that can be seen in different sectors of life, really, too. As an athlete, what I've seen is when people perform well, and they're consistently performing well, that's when a lot of coaches will favor them. And I really don't agree with that. I think you should support your teammates no matter what, especially if they're going through a lot. Like, please support them. But that is what I've seen as an athlete, you know, people or coaches showing favoritism. So, moving on to what caused me to realize, oh, there's some microaggressions being practiced here. There are quite the number of things. So, you know, when you have a friend and you walk up to them and you're like, hey girl, you know, I do that with most of my friends. And mind you, it's not that I still don't dislike the coach. I think that, you know, I don't think that that's healthy anyway, to like hold grudges and stuff. I did find it was very strange and odd that he would talk differently to me than he would to some of the other teammates. And I can't recall if I've said this already, but I was the only black girl on my cross-country team, so just keep that in mind, take note. So, yes, there would be times where he would walk up to me and or after a race and just really emphasize, hey girl, good job girl, you know. But I didn't really hear him talk to anybody else in this manner, so it was very like, it was just kind of off-putting to me, because, you know, it'd be different if it was one of my girlfriends saying like, hey girl, you know, like, but this is, you know, someone that I really only interacted with when I was on the field training, you know, doing athletic events. And again, I was with my team a good majority of the time, like a good majority of the time. So, I didn't ever see him interact with anyone that way. I don't know what happens behind closed doors. I instantly noticed that. So there's that. And now I want to talk about recruits, because a lot of people who are in athletic divisions and you know, they might know that when you have a recruit, you're just showing them around the campus, you're trying to see if they like it there, and, you know, just give them the best experience so that they can potentially join your team. So I never voluntarily signed up to be a host, and it's just honestly because there were times that I did have time, and other times I didn't feel like I needed to, you know, not to sound mean or anything, but I just never voluntarily signed up. And one day I get this, you know, not a call, it was, you know, a request from my coach that was asking for me to come to his office so I could talk to him, and I did. And so he tells me, we've got an incoming recruit coming in. Oh god, this color's not good. Well, anyway, we have an incoming recruit coming in, and I just looked at your classes, and I just thought that they would be so interesting. Now, I don't remember my schedule like that, but I do know it was 2 classes that day that she would have been attending with me. The first one was math, 114, and the other one was I'm pretty sure it was like just a course I was taking for extra credits, you know. And personally, I don't find math to be interesting. I find it extremely important, but I don't find it interesting per se. As a history major, I would definitely love to hit books more so than do math. So, and I said, you know, if you want me to take her, then I will. Didn't voluntarily want to do that, but I said, yeah, I'll do it. I get to the, I drive to her, you know, to get to her the next day that I needed to pick her up, and this young lady was a black young lady. I don't care what she looks like, but what I'm trying to relay here is that there are other people who sign up, right? There's other people who volunteer for this, and I was called to the office and asked to do this, even though I never, you know, like, put myself out there to do it. And I come to find out, oh, this is a black young lady. And, you know, I took her around, I showed her around, I hope she really liked it. I enjoyed having her with me. In the back of my head, I was like, wow, like, he had people who probably actually did sign up. And it's so obvious, you know, that I was asked to do that because you know, I'm a black, one of the only black women at the time, to be on the team. So there was that. I do need to note that I was not the only black girl the entire time of me being there. A good majority I was. Later on, I can't speak for, obviously, the other lady that I trained with. It's just that incident was odd to me. Okay, it was odd. So, that happened. And I just noticed also another thing was that when I would get upset or I would get mad, because athletes, you know, they always want to do well, they want to do good, they want to perform well. Ooh, this is really messy. And sometimes I didn't always have that, and I wasn't very consistent. I will admit that, and probably as my head coach would tell you, that I wasn't always consistent. And I do want to vouch for myself. I was going through a lot mentally, like there was a lot of stuff going on throughout my entire time there, whether it be financial, social. I was fighting all the battles, okay, and I think I did a good job. So I wasn't very consistent, but the times that it was great, and I would get very sad to the point where I wouldn't talk, or I would cry. And I'm going to talk about one incident specifically. So after a race, I was bawling my eyes out. I actually started crying like directly in front of my coach. And do you know what he did? He like walked away from me. And thank God my other coach was there, because I just felt so demoralized. And I would really expect my head coach to be there for me, but like, no. And I'm pointing this out because this was one of the 2 incidents where this had happened, where I was like some person you couldn't approach, that you just walk away from me or just not even interact with me. Other girls on the team had outbursts. They would be very upset, nerve-wracked. I don't know if that's even a word, but yeah. And I was the one who noticed that he didn't really feel the urge to talk to me. And I'll talk more about that later, but that was so blatant, very upsetting too, you know, because you want your coaches to be there for you. In moments like that, I really felt like I often didn't really have a lot of people. I had my friends, you know, occasionally, but that was, come on now, like, that was not okay to me. So on the emotional level, definitely didn't have support. And then I saw the difference from how I was treated in comparison to other teammates. Fast forwarding a little bit to my senior year, my father actually had a stroke, and it was his 3rd stroke on record. So this one really got to him. It was really bad. He was paralyzed on his entire left side. And I would go to see him in the hospital occasionally, and it was just very hard for me because it was my senior year. I was ready to just break records, you know, I really wanted to go out with a bang, and then that happened, right? So, put some more primer. I really just didn't feel supported at all, and I went to counseling at the time. I went to counseling, and my coaches knew that, and I still felt like they, you know, weren't really there for me like that. But I'm kind of getting off topic here, but as far as like the mental aspect, that was there, right? Within the same year, still feeling very alone, very aloof. Not that, well, I wouldn't say I was aloof. I would say that it was hard for me to stay connected with the team, and it became very difficult. And I feel like when I did interact with my coach, it was very odd ways, and the microaggressions would come out. There's the time towards the end of this year where, again, he wouldn't approach me. He would walk right past me sometimes in the hallway, yet go talk to other people. There was a time we were, you know, just standing there, and I guess it was kind of awkward for him, so he felt like he needed to ask me a question or talk to me, because, yeah, now's the time. It's just us two. Like, he wouldn't talk to me otherwise. My point is, so we're standing at the elevator, and he just starts talking to me about whether or not black people wear sunscreen. And, again, like, I didn't even talk to this man like that, so, like, for him to just be like, oh, do black people wear sunscreen? And you can easily look that up, and we weren't friends like that, so I found that very odd. I was like, yeah, they do. They wear sunscreen. We don't want skin cancer. So that's kind of it's not minor in like the weight of it, but that was a small moment where I was like, wow, this is very strange. So I'm gonna fast forward a little bit again, and I'm gonna talk about my time where I was starting to end being at the school. So we had the option to do a survey in which you tell your coach what you'd like to improve, what you think the team can improve with, all that good stuff. And I wrote on there because I saw the preferential treatment, and I also saw the treatment I received as a black woman. You know, not that I wanted to be treated, no one wants to be treated this way, I just had to speak out about it. And I put on that survey, I said, I think that you should work on treating people better and not treat them poorly due to their race, whether or not they have to go handle things with their career and other aspects of their life. Because there were actually other people who were receiving the brunt of the deal because they wanted to focus on their career, but we're not going to be athletes forever. Well, at least not all of us were going to be for a long period of time. So I put that in the survey, and you know what he said to me after reading that? He said, I don't do that. I don't treat people like that. And I was pointing out to him the things I was pointing out to you guys, basically saying that I felt alone. I saw that other people were being treated differently than I was. And then my coach's response was, oh, well, they were crying and they needed help, And you walked past me all those times when I needed help, right? Oh, I didn't need any help, I guess. The thing that really traumatized me was after I made these comments, right? I'm just sitting there waiting for him to say something, please give me some closure. He says, you were like a specimen that I didn't know how to talk to. A specimen that he didn't know how to talk to. My response to that was, wow. I remember myself sitting in the chair and I remember saying, wow. Because I was honestly taken aback. I didn't have anything else. I didn't have any words. I was just like, wow, you are just being so outright about this, how you think of me as a specimen that you couldn't talk to. Even though before I realized, I was being treated a certain way, I would approach him, I wanted to talk to him. I was very friendly, I would say, with a lot of people on the team, but no, I was a specimen. Didn't know how to talk to him. And then following this comment, I had received another comment that he had told me, I'm sorry you had the perfect body for this. Again, ignoring my emotional needs and pointing out my athleticism, or ignoring the fact that I needed help, and telling me your primary goal and how I view you was the runner that was going to get us points. That's what I took from it anyway, and it was so upsetting, so heartbreaking. After that day, I have thought about that since. And let's just talk about how black women for centuries have been used by white Americans for scientific study. We've been debased, we've been sexualized, we've been objectified, and often we're thought to not feel pain. We're thought to be mentally, stronger than everyone else, we can handle things. And I just think that's very wrong to put us on this scale of, being stronger than other women or other humans in general, in terms of pain, in terms of mental health and stuff, because we endure the same pain that other people can also endure. Unfortunately, people still don't realize that, and that was very upsetting to me, that I was still, that this is still a thing. And this was in 2019, my last year there, so that's when I experienced that, and it was very disheartening, very saddening. And my final statements to him was that I'm telling you this because I don't want this to happen to somebody like me again, and I pray to God that it doesn't happen to somebody again. I really do. Ever since that time period, it's been 2 years now, there were nights where I couldn't sleep. I thought about those words. I thought about all I gave to the program. I thought about, how much effort I put into and how I was treated, and I'd cry and I'd get upset and I'd have mental breakdowns. And I really contemplated my worth, sadly, because of that, because I put in so much as someone that came into that school not even really being able to afford it, really, for being honest, and that's how I was treated. So I still endure a lot of pain. It's gotten a little better, and obviously I need to see counseling. I encourage all of my friends, all my family, especially minorities, especially black women and black men, don't allow anyone to tell you you don't need it. I've had people close to me say will get over it, which is kind of sad, you know, because everyone handles the trauma in different ways. So I'm still dealing with this today. And yes, it is up to me to go and seek help. I can't feel bad for myself if I'm not going to seek help. I'm definitely going to go seek help. I just wanted to talk about this because I feel like it's a topic that is often ignored or swept under the rug. And I did talk to my twin about this. I said I want them to stop having free rent in my mind. I do. And I also do pray that things get better for people like me who are ever in that situation. And I just want everyone to be friendly with everyone. Like, I don't see what's so hard about that. Anyway, we're going to flash forward to a year after this, because this is going to be something else important to talk to. So I hadn't spoken to any of the coaches, and I kind of branched away from the team in general. Like, I talked to a lot. I still have, you know, I talk to people on the team today. It's just I don't really follow what's going on as much. And after the George Floyd murder, I got a text from, lo and behold, my coach, and he, to summarize this text, I deleted it. I should have kept it, but it was just so, it was so maddening to me, because I felt like, wow. And let me just tell you guys what was in the text. So, in the text he said, I want to reach out to all my black friends and just let you know, like, I'm here for you. I don't stand with what happened. It's good that you don't stand with what happened. I really appreciate, and I appreciate, you know, forums, even if they're minor, I appreciate there being some sort of acknowledgement of what's going on and pushing for better realities in this nation and in the world. I am all for that. However, why did it take you a full year to reach out to me, you know, and say you care about me and such? And also, I'm not about to be the token, and I feel like in a lot of situations I was made out to be that way. I don't like that. I just want to vibe with whoever I like. So, I had made a status about something else that had happened racially at the school that I went to, and I said, you know what? I want to talk to this man, and I want to talk to him about how I really feel about my time there. And I asked him if it was okay for me to show him said status that I had made, and he said sure. So I sent it over his way, and we scheduled a time to talk. And part of me just really wanted to go in and say, how dare you treat me like this? Like, why did you treat me like this? You know, I was very reserved. And also, it's not my obligation to make people feel like they need to do certain things or be better. I would just hope that they would be better. Yeah, so I scheduled a phone call with him, and we talked for a little bit. First, we were talking about things that weren't really about this status at all, which is fine, you know, leaning into the conversation. I asked him if he remembered the survey that I completed, and he said no, that they were all anonymous. And honestly, I don't really know if that was him purposefully avoiding, you know, what I was going to say about it, or if he genuinely didn't know. And I did have the opportunity to like hone in on that and really expound on what I was going to talk about. But I said, Jeanette, listen, let's get our points across, and let me allow him to know about how I felt at the school, just as a black woman in general. Because, like, I feel like I stayed in my lane. I didn't really, like, try to, you know, ever come for anyone. And there were a lot of incidents that happened to me that were just very negative and very racially, just racial and racist and just disturbing. So I let him know about that, and he said, I'm sorry. To sum it up, we failed you as a black student. And yes, I did have the opportunity to say, hey, I don't like how you called me a specimen. I don't like how you said I had the perfect body for this. Like, there were definitely things I definitely could have talked more about. I just wanted to get my general point across that, like, I had a hard and rough time there because I was black, and I want things to be better. Again, I told him I want things to be better for other students, incoming students. So, he told me that there were going to be some programs at the school that would allow students like myself who either wanted to talk about race or talk about other incidents or other themes that they might feel uncomfortable talking about. He wanted to create that safe space for them. And he did say, he said, we failed you as a black student. And he started to say whether it's something that someone else did or something that I did. That part I was like, that you're not really trying to take accountability here, and maybe it's just that I didn't point it out to you, but just know that this is wrong. And even if he sees this, or anyone else in my cohort at the time, I just know that this isn't a smear campaign. This is to spread awareness, and it's also to let you know that that was mentally traumatizing, and I don't want anyone else to go through that. So we talked about that, and I can't say that I ended the phone call being satisfied. I don't really think I left that day being satisfied. I don't know if those programs are happening. I really do hope that they are. Again, I think that we should keep our foot on the pedal as good human beings, and I really do hope for the best for any incoming students. That's, I'll just say that. And I do need to seek counseling. I have not yet. It's been 2 years and I haven't, And having gone to counseling when I was an athlete, I went to a couple sessions and I was like, oh, this isn't gonna help me. And other friends that people that I have around me, they've said, why not try journaling? Why not try to type it out, or voice it out, record it? That will help you feel better. I'm all accountable for that. I should be doing that if I want to improve and get better. So that I do understand. And I will definitely work on that, and I can update you guys on that as well if you'd like. I don't want that to happen to somebody else again. I don't want it to happen to I don't want, harsh things to happen to anyone, really. So, there's that. Makeup looks really bad, but I hope that I was able to get, my point across to everyone, and I hope that you guys are all doing okay and alright, and staying as safe as possible. I just want to really make it known that it's okay to talk about these things. And if anything, my channel is going to be a safe space for these types of topics. And I know that my dad would be proud that I'm talking about this, because he was himself a very, active person and a proponent of civil rights. So I would also like to extend his energies, and I know he would be proud of me for that. Okay, so, and if there's anything else that you guys would like me to lengthen upon or just talk more about, I definitely can. This does feel a little good to know that I'm starting this channel now, and even though, again, I said I want it to be fun and stuff, there's going to be times where we're going to be really real here, and we're going to talk about things that might, be unnerving for some. So, if you guys want to comment down below also, experiences that you feel the need to share, or if you feel comfortable, and if not, of course, please don't feel like you should. I definitely want to make my channel a safe and open space for talking about issues like this. I am always here to listen, and I'm always here to spread awareness for civil rights, and making sure that our world can be better, even if it's just one very small step at a time. Okay, so I'm going to leave you guys off with just saying, please take care of yourself, both physically, mentally. I've said this in one of my previous videos that for me, I still try to run and I still try to exercise, but I don't consider it to be a complete replacement for mental health. Please find something that helps you feel good, whether that be meditating, whether it's, going on walks, spending time with friends, recharging by yourself. Please do something that helps you feel a little bit better, and if you need counseling, whatever therapy that you need, please do seek it. you are so important, and we do only have one life. I'm going to leave you guys off with that message. Please like or subscribe, whatever your little heart desires. Comment. It's all good. Thank you if you made it this far into the video for listening in on my story, and I will see you guys in the next one.